happening, everybody? Trey here, joined by my dad, Sean, and today at Reactions to the Classics, we are going to be doing our top 10 albums of 2022, draft style. And this is, we didn't even plan it like this, Dad, but this is timely, coming on the last week of the year right here, 2022 wrapping up, and after all this time, our top 10 album draft series wrapping up. Started 1965, came up to today. And man, it's been a fun journey, fun series, and hey, still some great albums.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know, on this whole journey whether it's a musical PhD, but we're at least taking classes in the PhD program. So yeah, if you've never been with us before, where you been? But check out all the old videos; they're in a playlist down below. But if you don't know how this works, Trey gets the first pick, I get 2, 3, he gets 4, 5. We switch every year, but you don't have to worry about that because we're a year away from doing this again. But we need you to help us out. Pay attention to who you think won. Leave that in the comments below. And if you got a top 5 albums from 2022 or top 10, let us know that below. And if you're a patron, remember you get to vote on one of these albums for a live listening party right here on YouTube. So Trey, you had first pick. I thought there was a clear number 1 this year. I would have picked your number 1, but I knew you were going to pick it.
Yeah. For me, I thought it was a pretty strong year all in all, particularly in the hip-hop realm. And I'm going to go with a man whose tour I saw for this record, actually. Kendrick Lamar's Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers, his 5th record right here. After 5 years of anticipation for Kendrick's new album, it finally dropped. And in my opinion, man, it lived up to the hype. Debuted at number 1, nearly 300,000 copies sold, and has stayed pretty well on the charts throughout this year. And you show Kendrick maturing and kind of broaching on topics of his infidelity, of his fame, of the recent COVID, and a lot of people like, where's Kendrick? Talking about this stuff. He broaches a lot of that and does it in a way where he kind of intersperses some therapy type skits in there, which as a counselor myself, I really appreciated and enjoyed. Some of the best songs of the year are on here, like the single N95. I think Auntie Diaries is great, and the really heartbreaking Mother I Sober with the great Beth Gibbons of Portishead on vocals on that as well. But really fantastic album, and that is going to be my number 1. What do you got?
Well, Trey, like I said, that would have been my number 1, but you took it. So Trey, here we go, man. She was number 1 for me 2 years ago, and she's going to be number 1 again this year. Taylor Swift, Midnight's 10th studio album. I know you love it, Trey. Concept album about, her issues of sleeping at night, everything she goes through. She said the subject matter was inspired by 5 major topics: self-hatred, revenge fantasies, wondering what might have been, falling in love, and falling apart. All kinds of different musical styles on here. It achieved some crazy stuff. Spotify feat for the most single-day streams of an album and topped the charts in 30 countries. It opened in the U.S. with over 1.5 million units, became 2022's fastest and best-selling album, largest vinyl week of sales this century.
Yeah,
and
crazy.
Marked her 11th number 1 album. Spawned 10 top 10 songs at the same time. Never been done before. I think Drake had 9.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
She had all 10. The lead single, Anti-Hero, which I think is the best song of the year, if you break down the writing in each line, is really about something, was her 9th number 1 hit. So Anti-Hero, Mastermind, the last track, Snow on the Beach with Lana Del Rey, who co-wrote that song, although she's not in the song much. She is on there. Maroon and You're on Your Own, Kid. Trey, I imagine you have some thoughts on this.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this. I thought it was pretty average. At this point, though, I'm more interested in the stuff surrounding Taylor, like the sales, the chart success and stuff, as I am opposed to her music. I really like Folklore and Evermore from 2020. I thought this was a step down, but hey, I'm in the minority there.
Well, I think the production with Jack Antonoff is absolutely top flight. And I've listened to this album probably 15 times all the way through. And I think the more you listen to it, I know you're not going to, but the more you appreciate the writing and kind of what goes into it. But I'll be doing a discography of Taylor soon on the channel. My second pick, someone that a lot of people don't know, and some people would call this an EP, but it was officially called an album. It's got 7 songs, 28 minutes. We got Gabriels, Angels,
and
I didn't Queens.
I've never heard of them.
Part 1. Part 2 will be coming in March, supposedly. It's their debut album. They're a trio from Compton. The album was produced by the trio and hip-hop producer Soundwave, who actually is on one of Taylor's tracks on Midnights, because him and Antonoff are friends. Jacob Luss, the lead singer, absolute superstar. I mean, he is
Okay,
fantastic.
I gotta check this out.
Range of styles. You got R&B, you got soul, you got gospel. Title track and the Heartbreaking If You Only Knew are the highlights, but I highly recommend this album.
Okay, well, that is something to add to my list, and a late entry into this year is one of the top 5 rappers going today, and she's not number 5. It's going to be Little Simz. No, thank you. Her 5th album as well, just like Kendrick's was. They again showcases a lot of the great production that we had on her last record, Introvert, that was one of my favorites of 2021. Kind of that lush orchestral instrumentation with some really great rhythm sections as well, and really just letting Little Simz's lyricism and emceeing kind of be the highlight here. She's talking about her music industry experiences, spiritual revelations, and my favorite on this, and one of my favorite songs of the year, is the epic 7-minute Broken, where it just really touches on a lot of mental health stuff, and just kind of her experiences now having a little success, and how that doesn't fully satisfy. Angel, the opener, is also really good. And just the production here by Inflow is really great. So check that out.
I have not listened to this yet. I know it just came out, and I had already was done with my list, and I thought, if it's great, he's the expert, and he's got it.
Well, and then keeping in the hip hop realm, man, we're going with the great Danger Mouse and Black Thought with their record Cheat Codes. If you don't know, Danger Mouse is a legendary producer, and Black Thought is one of the great rappers of all time. Just what a lyricist he is. Made famous with the Roots back in the day. But here, about 10 tracks, 30 some odd minutes, and that really helps this flow by. The sampling comes from a variety of genres in here to give it a really unique soundscape. And the guest features on here are who's who, everybody from Run the Jewels, Joey Badass, and then the late great MF Doom is on the track Belize, which is my favorite. Also really like Strangers, but there's a lot of great songs on this, and it again shows why Black Thought is one of the best to ever pick up a microphone.
All right, well, my third pick, someone who's appeared on here many times. We got Beach House, Once Twice Melody, their 8th studio album for the duo. Double album though, Trey. Buckle up. It's 18 songs. There's 4 chapters. It's 84 minutes long. In the streaming world, you can do it that way because they released each chapter at a different time just to add up this stuff. I mean, they're usually very lush, but this album is very, very lush. It's a vocal masterpiece just in the weight and in their style. I'm not really going to pick favorite songs. I'll tell you, chapter 1 is my favorite. There's 4 songs in there. That's my favorite. Did you listen to this?
Yeah. Beach House, I really do think is... they don't ever miss, right?
They don't.
One of the best groups of this century.
And I never listened to them before we started doing this album draft, but they're great. My next pick, now I thought, 84 minutes is a lot, but my next guy, Zach Bryan, said, hold my beer, because he went with a triple album that's 121 minutes long, American Heartbreak. His 3rd studio album, but his major label debut. He explained the album, quote, explores the past 5 years of his life, further calling it his effort at trying to explain what being a 26-year-old American man in America is like. There's love, loss, revelry, resentment, and forgiveness, all wrapped into one piece of work. Went to 5 in the U.S. on the Hot 100. Achieved the most streams of any country album in 2022 on Spotify and Apple Music. Something in the Orange is great. Billy Stay, which is a song about aging and Alzheimer's, great. There's a lot of great songs in here now. His style and what he's talked about is a lot of artists will go and do, I think it's 34 songs that he did. Mm-hmm. They'll record 34 songs and they'll cut it down and release 12. Yeah. But he said, I put so much work into these that the ones that weren't even finished, I just released them anyway. Yeah. So I had to listen to this in doses, right? I listened to it in 3 different listenings, but I highly recommend it. It's definitely worth it. And I'm not a country guy, but it was fantastic.
Well, I like the variety you got on deck, man. I'm gonna not do that. I'm going back to the hip hop realm. JID's The Forever Story, his 3rd record, anticipated follow up from DiCaprio 2. Prior to release, JID said about the album, quote, initially I wanted to create a record that serves as an origin story and speaks to who I am and what I came from. That has been the heaviest project for me to make, and I take pride in my vulnerability that came in the midst of creation. Again, the production is really on point here and varied up, which I appreciate from your more traditional hip hop sounding sounds and going to more R&B type stuff. And I just really think this record flows well. One of the best of the year, and just its sequencing. My favorites are going to be 2007, where he really talks about a bit his origin story and coming up and the albums that affected him in that process. And then the Synonym is really a great track as well.
Well, I mean, I don't know any of your last three albums. I knew Kendrick, and I know your last one.
Yeah, and we're going now to Wise Blood and In the Darkness, Hearts Aglow. Again, fifth album. I had a bit of a theme for some of my picks, but this is her second record in a trilogy of albums following 2019's really solid effort in Titanic Rising. According to her, Titanic Rising is, quote, an observation sounding the alarms that shit is going to go down. Wow, this record is, quote, my personal response to being in the thick of it. Much like Beach House. I mean, it's a different style, but very lush production. Definitely get hints of like Joni Mitchell in the vocal delivery here. Kind of blending the singer-songwriter with kind of some dream pop elements, psychedelia, and man, it's just a really, really good sounding record on top of some fantastic lyricism, and shows she's one of the better, I think, singer-songwriters going today. My favorites are God Turn Me Into a Flower, and it's not me, just me, it's everybody.
All right, my last pick. It's always tough, right, for that last pick, like what's going to make it, because they're the good albums. I'm going to go with Black Country New Road. Their second album, Ants, from Up There. Of course, lead vocalist Isaac Wood announced 4 days before this album dropped that he was leaving the band for mental health issues. They noted they were directly influenced by Arcade Fire's Funeral. We got a review of that. Sufjan Stevens, Illinois. We got a review of that. Arthur Russell's I Would Dream, and Billie Eilish's last album, Happier Than Ever, during the recording process. 92 on Metacritic. I don't think it's quite that good, but I do think it's really good. They're often compared to Black Midi. I definitely prefer both of their albums over Black Midi, but whatever you like, you like. That's good. Highlights Chaos Space Marine, who they said that was the best album or best song they had ever recorded, and Concord. What did you think of this album? I know you
I initially gave this album 5 stars when it dropped, and then I re-listened to it. Lowered that a bit, but still a fantastic record, and was right there for making it for me. I really like the song Basketball Shoes as well.
Yeah, that song's a great song. They said they wrote that song before their first album.
Just the way they're able to. I really like the way they implement the violins and the horn sections in there, and Isaac's very passionate vocals on here are quite impressive. So I think that's a great pick right here. What you got on honorable?
I got mentions? A decent amount. My last cut from my top 5 was Ethel Cain, her fantastic album, Preacher's Daughter. We got The Weeknd, Dawn FM. I don't think that Abel ever misses.
No.
I mean, if you like this music.
That's another one released in January that some people forget. Oh, that was released this year.
A really good album. I know one of our patrons had me do Father John Misty, Chloe in the Next 20th Century. I liked it better than you did. I remember we did a Father John Misty album ranking. Always Blue Rev. They, no pun intended, always end up in my list. Fontaines DC, Skinty Fia, I actually like that way better than their first album. Michael Head, the Red Elastic Band, Dear Scott. You just got to listen to it. Well, another artist coming up here who we did a song about, Hooray for the Riff Raff, Life on Earth. I thought that was fantastic. Nina Anastasia, Riderless Horse, Porridge Radio, Water Slide, Diving Board, Ladder to the Sky, and Spoon, Lucifer on the Sofa, the boys from Austin, still getting it done in 2022.
Yeah, I'm going to be throwing Beyonce's Renaissance in there.
A lot of people picked that as the album. I didn't like it as well as some of her other albums.
Well, it's interesting because she kind of went into the dance house type stuff, which Drake did as well with Honestly Nevermind, which Drake, big miss on that record. Beyonce did the style much better.
Right, yeah, she definitely did.
Big Thief's Dragon, New Warm Mountain, I Believe in You. Denzel Curry's Melt My Eyes, See Your Future. My guy Earl Sweatshirt, Sick. Alex G's God Save the Animals. Jockstraps, I Love You, Jennifer B. Nas, still bringing the heat with King's Disease 3. The Smile, the Tom York, Johnny Green one. I know you weren't a huge fan.
I wasn't a huge fan of it. Didn't hate it, but wasn't a huge fan of it.
A Light for Attracting Attention. And then Soul Glow, Diaspora Problems. Really great punkish type record. And that does it for my honorable mentions, and I guess that does it for our draft today, people.
Yeah, well, it does it, period, for the draft, right? We finally have done it. But guys, don't worry, there's going to be more videos coming up. We are going to do our top videos, or our top albums of all time, which...
I'm looking forward to that.
Me too. Now we've got a much better better grasp on it now that we've gone through this process. We're also going to do a video on the 10 things that surprised us most on this journey of this music, and a couple other things we'll drop. So be on the lookout for that.
And until next time, y'all, thanks so much for watching. Happy listening, and we will see you.